After graduation, I unexpectedly spent the night with the most outstanding boy in my class. He took the initiative to propose to me in order to take responsibility. However, after marriage, he was only passionate about me in bed, and was very indifferent at other times. One day, I accidentally learned that he had an unforgettable lover in his heart. I finally realized that he didn't love me, so I filed for divorce. Let's get a divorce. That night, I whispered as I lay in Matthew's arms, feeling his body tense up. Matthew looked down at me. Why? His voice was calm as always. We got married because of the child, but unfortunately, we're destined to lose it, I said, looking steadily into his eyes. I think I'm more used to being independent. Being with you feels no different than being without you. But without you, my expectations and worries would decrease. I think you feel the same. After the divorce, I wouldn't have to face his mother and relatives, and he wouldn't have to face my demanding family either. Matthew didn't speak, just kept staring at me. His brown eyes grew darker. Just when I thought he wouldn't say anything, he nodded calmly. All right. I smiled at him, though my eyes were heavy with sadness. Our marriage ended as I expected, and I felt a deep sorrow. I held back my tears, gently burying my head in his chest for one last tight hug. Matthew didn't respond, he just let me hold him in silence. I slowly pulled away. I'm going to take a shower. I quietly turned away, but just as I was about to get out of bed, my arm was suddenly grabbed. I was pulled back onto the soft bed. Matthew kissed me hard, but when he saw the panic in my eyes, he stopped. Anger flashed in Matthew's eyes, but he slowly calmed down. He turned over and lay beside me. Go to sleep, he said, closing his eyes. The next morning, when I woke up, Matthew was gone. I packed my things. Before leaving, I took one last look at the house I had lived in for 2 years. I placed the keys and the divorce agreement on the table, then sent Matthew a message. I've signed the divorce agreement on the table. I've handed the divorce process over to Mr. Sutton. When are you available? Let's finalize it. I'm leaving. Take care. Matthew received the message during a meeting. When he saw it, he was stunned, looking a little distracted. Everyone in the room had never seen him so out of it. Mr. Brock? His assistant Lucille gently reminded him. Matthew glanced at her, calmly put down his phone, and continued speaking. Just when everyone thought he was fine, he suddenly said, "The meeting is over." He grabbed his phone from the table and rushed out of the meeting room. The others looked at each other in confusion. What's wrong with Mr. Brock? Matthew went straight home. It was the first time he had gone home during work hours. The tidy house no longer showed any trace of me, only the divorce agreement scattered by the wind on the table. Matthew walked over and picked it up. The agreement was simple. I didn't want anything. I had already signed it. Matthew stared at the divorce agreement, lost in thought. I moved back to my house in the suburbs, the place where Matthew and I had accidentally spent one night together. Looking at the familiar things in the house, I felt empty and sad. I thought he liked me for many years, which was why he spent that night with me. It turned out he was just drunk. I had only shown up when he needed a marriage to comfort his grandfather. My sorrow deepened as I looked around the once hopeful little space. After a long time, I picked up the phone and called the realtor who had sold me the house. Hello, I'd like to sell my house in Green Hill Bay. Can you help me with that? Of course, he agreed cheerfully. 2 days later, Matthew's assistant Harrison saw my house was for sale online. He was stunned and couldn't help but glance at Matthew in the office. Matthew had asked Harrison to help